Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story about how an off-duty cop used quick thinking to turn a scary situation into one where bravery and resourcefulness saved the day. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like if you enjoy the content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a juicy story. How "I don't work here, lady" almost turned scary for an off-duty police officer. This story came from my friend's husband, Adam. And yes, this is Belle's husband. Belle's my retired Army officer friend. Adam worked as a police officer from the late 90s to the early 10s until being injured in the line of duty. One December evening, Adam was finishing up his shift when Belle, who he was dating at the time, called him asking if he could pick up a couple of last-minute things for a Christmas party. Since the Mart of Walls is about a mile away from the station, Adam decides to go there. He's wearing a thick, dark blue coat over his uniform, complete with vest, belt, and gear, including his sidearm, radio, handcuffs, and baton. He's in the dairy section getting some cream when he heard a woman say in a low voice, "Excuse me." Adam turns to look. There's a young woman, maybe college age, dressed in jeans, a thick coat, and heavily pregnant. Definitely not the Karen type. "Can you please help me get a TV from the back?" Adam's about to use the classic "I don't work here, lady" line when he sees the fear in her eyes. Now on high alert, he leans close to her and whispers, "What happened?" "I'm scared of my husband. He just shot the officer who pulled us over." Adam looks up and sees this strung-out-looking man who looks like he hasn't showered in days, watching them with, as Adam recounted, shark eyes. Thinking fast, Adam says loud enough for the man to hear, "I'm more than happy to help you, ma'am. Let me page the back and we'll get it in a minute. Hang tight." Using his cell phone, which wasn't as common as it is now, he texted a fellow officer who was still on duty, asking her if an officer got shot. When she confirmed it and asked what was going on, he told her what was going on, to alert the manager and to send a couple of units to the store. She responded to him that the units were on the way, the manager had been alerted, and to hang tight. Once he received her text, he said, "It's on its way to the front. I'll personally escort you there so the manager knows who it belongs to." So he leads the family to the front and makes eye contact with the manager. The manager, who recognizes Adam from previous excursions, comes over. Adam, keeping up the charade, says to the manager, "Boss, I think it'd be good to get the lady off her feet for a little bit while we get the car loaded." He said with a meaningful look, "It's going to take several minutes anyway." The manager nods and says, "Of course, come with me, ma'am. My office is just this way." Once the lady and the manager were safely away, Adam and the man head out to the parking lot. Just then, Adam spots the officers getting out of their cars and nods at them. The takedown wasn't as dramatic as you'd expect it to be. They recognized him and arrested him as soon as several outstanding warrants for his arrest were revealed. The officer the man had attacked survived his injuries, and the man got a nice long prison sentence for several charges, including attempted murder. The lady filed for divorce, and with Adam and Belle's help, was able to get home to her family. Last Adam heard, she was doing well. When she heard the story, Belle, as she put it to me, knew I met the man I was going to marry someday. This reminds me of the news story from about 5 years ago. A woman and her husband had taken their dog to the vet. While waiting to be seen, she managed to slip a note to one of the front desk nurses. "Please help me. He's going to kill me." The nurses nodded a bit and put the couple in an exam room with CCTV, then called the cops. He was arrested for DA, and woman and doggo were safe. And our second story. Lady curses out bully customer. I work the self-checkout a lot, and with that comes a lot of mini dramas from people. I'm fine with ringing someone up with the machines. I just ask if they have a little patience since there's only one of me. A cute little old lady walks up and asks me politely if I can help her. I say sure. Store is mostly empty and I'm not doing anything. When I start ringing her up, I notice the small box of nails I ring up are $170, which doesn't seem right. Lady trying to put her card in while chatting to me about cooking. Me, "Ma'am, don't pay yet. Look at this. Is that right?" Lady studies the screen. "Oh, no, it's not. They're not that expensive, are they?" Me, "No, it's not even the right product. It's saying these nails are a bar of some kind." Give me a minute and I can key in the right number for you. This is where I started to get a bit flustered. I try keying in the nails she has and same thing pops up. Try another number, computer won't accept. Try scanning again, bar comes up, rinse and repeat. While I'm doing this, an older guy comes up on a mobility scooter and sits and watches for a minute. Guy, what's the holdup? Lady, the nails rang up wrong and she's correcting it for me. Me, getting more flustered, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'll make sure you're not overcharged. Lady, very cheerfully, it's okay, honey, thank you. This made me even more flustered because she was being so cheerful and continuing to talk about her cooking. I think more to cheer me up than anything. Guy starts getting aggravated. What's the holdup? What's she doing? Lady, computer's giving her trouble. Guy, well, I gotta go. I just got one thing. Tell her to ring something up. Me, I'm sorry, sir. I'm trying to fix this for her. I'm so sorry for holding you up, ma'am. I know you have things to do. Lady, still being very kind. It's okay, sweetie. I can see you're working on it. At this point, Guy just continues to complain and is getting progressively louder while I'm doing my best to help Lady. She can see I'm getting flustered and starts giving Guy the side eye and giving him more clipped responses. Guy, yelling now, hurry up, I gotta go. Lady snaps, shut the F up, she's helping me, stop bothering her. Guy stares astounded at the little old lady, as do I. Lady, wait your turn. Guy angrily glares at me, then her. Ma'am, I don't want these anymore. Hands me his batteries, gets up from his mobility cart and storms out of the store. Me, completely flabbergasted. Lady pats my arm gently. You don't let anyone speak to you like that ever, sweetie. Me, yes, ma'am. And I just rang up another set of nails. Lady, cheerful and sweet as ever, thank you. I thanked her again for her help and patience, and she took my hand and shoved $2 into it, with apologies she didn't have more before hurrying out. Guys, I cried a bit, just because I wasn't expecting that level of kindness. For a brief moment, I was concerned that the grumpy man was the nice lady's husband, but that doesn't seem to be the case, thankfully. And our next story. I finally had enough. A while back, before I moved, I worked downtown in a major city as a paralegal at a defense firm. Every day when it was time to go home, everyone would have to go to end of this street and merge left to get on an up-ramp that leads to the interstate. It was a 2-lane street that turned into a 1-lane a block before going up the ramp. Every day, there were people who didn't want to get in the 1 lane and would drive to the beginning of the line and cut people off to get onto the interstate instead of waiting their turn in line. It would make my blood boil. So one day, my car was in the shop and I was driving a rental car and it opted for rental insurance. Well, I was the car in front and I saw this large, shiny, new black pickup truck coming up on my right trying to cut me off. All of a sudden it hit me that I was in the rental car and just drove the car straight and didn't let the truck over. My car just crunched into the truck's driver and passenger doors. It was a really big dent. So a man jumped out of the truck and started yelling at me, saying that he was an attorney and was going to sue me for everything I had. I recognized his name and remembered that he was a plaintiff attorney in a 2-man law office and represented a couple of plaintiffs in a huge class action case that the attorney, a partner in a 200-attorney law firm I worked for, defended. So I started laughing, which pissed him off even more. He asked what was so funny, and I told him the attorney that I was a paralegal for, and you should have seen his face drop, LOL. He kind of laughed and said he would file it with his own insurance and then left. I guess he thought he could intimidate me with the yelling and saying he was a lawyer, even though he was in the wrong. There were cars behind me that witnessed the accident and were laughing so hard because the same thing happened to them and said they would testify in my defense. The feeling of driving into his truck felt so good, though. Isn't there a rule where you are that you have to take turns to merge? One from your lane, one from the closing lane. Keep moving. And our last story. Caught our neighbors stealing our electricity. This morning we woke up to a bizarre and infuriating discovery. An extension cord was plugged into the power outlet outside our back door, the same door that leads into our bedroom, and was running into our neighbor's house. Sometime during the night, they had trespassed onto our property to steal our electricity, even trying to hide the cord under the welcome mat. The whole incident was caught on our security camera. Our neighbors have always been a bit strange and generally not very talkative. Last night, I noticed them acting oddly in the alleyway while I was walking the dog, but I didn't think much of it at the time. Now I'm baffled, pissed, and just overall feeling violated. My first instinct is to confront them and ask them what they were thinking. Stealing from us is crossing a major line. I'm seriously considering reaching out to the police. However, as a homeowner, I don't want to stir up trouble with longtime residents in the neighborhood. It's a tricky situation, and I want to handle it carefully. After thinking it over, I decided to take a calm and measured approach. First, I documented everything, took photos of the extension cord, the outlet, and saved the security footage. With this evidence, I felt more confident about my next steps. I decided to approach my neighbors calmly. I knocked on their door and explained what I had found that morning, showing them the photos and footage. I made it clear that this was unacceptable and a serious violation of trust. They seemed embarrassed and apologized profusely, claiming they had a temporary power issue and didn't think it'd be a big deal for just one night. I told them that if it ever happened again, I would have no choice but to involve the authorities. I also made sure to notify them that I had already informed the electric company and that their actions could result in serious consequences. They assured me it wouldn't happen again. To ensure there were no further issues, I installed a lock on the outdoor outlet and informed our landlord about the incident. The landlord appreciated the heads up and mentioned they would be keeping an eye on the situation as well. Ultimately, the situation was resolved without involving the police, and I felt confident that my neighbors understood the seriousness of their actions. It was a wake-up call to always be vigilant about our property and to address issues head-on, but with a level-headed approach. If it was just some homeless guy charging his phone, I'd happily overlook it, but running an extension cord to a neighbor's outlet is Dirtbag 101. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.